Welcome back, guys. We are so excited again to talk to you about our six-figure live launch strategy. I am back with my team member, Emily. She's my online business manager. And if you missed last week, make sure to go back and listen or watch that one first. We talked about how to choose a live launch strategy, what are live launches, if you didn't know, and what we do for pre-launch. So in this week's episode, we're going to be discussing what we do during the launch and then post-launch. So excited to dive into all the things.
Yeah, we're almost there, guys.
Almost there. It's a lot. It's just a reminder, you don't have to do all of these things, especially if it's your first launch. Please don't do all of these things. Start small,
Right.
do what you can, especially if you don't have a team, which if you're just starting, you probably don't. That's fine. I used to do this all by myself, but I didn't do all of these things. So just
Right.
but I didn't want to gatekeep anything. I wanted to tell you exactly what we do because that's what the episode is called, our six-figure strategy. So just do what you can and add a little bit each time.
That's right.
Okay, so we are going to dive into what we do during the actual launch period. So pre-launch is about 2 weeks before the launch, leading up to the challenge. Now, it may take you longer than those 2 weeks to get everything done. In fact, it probably will. So, like 4 to 6 weeks. But things are actually happening 2 weeks prior. So, like, we're opening the Facebook group 2 weeks prior. We're announcing the challenge and asking people to sign up 2 weeks before the challenge starts. So, then the actual launch period begins on the first day of our challenge. And if you're doing a webinar, it would be the day of your webinar, and it goes through open cart, which is when people can buy, and it ends on the last day that people can buy, which is the closed cart day. So it's really broken up into two stages: the challenge stage, which I like to call like the launch catalyst, and then the open cart stage. So during the actual challenge, I usually do a 4-day challenge. So I've done three, also a 3-day challenge. That is when I am sending the videos that I pre-recorded during pre-launch via email to the people that signed up. So
Yeah.
Basically, we do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for our challenges for my teacher business. So every day at 9 a.m., they get an email with the challenge video and they can watch it. It's pre-recorded so that they can pause and actually complete the skill. And then I tell them in the video to go to the Facebook group and complete the action step. Did I miss
Yeah.
anything?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It's those emails are pretty straightforward. They're pretty short and just like you said, have basically those two things. Here's the video, and then make sure that you complete the action step.
Yeah. And as far as the action step goes, I try to keep it really simple. So I love specific examples. So I'll give you some. So on day one of my teacher challenge, it would be something like create the setup for your page. So the setup would be like, make sure your page is the right size so it can be printed out, put a spot for student's name and date, put a title, add directions, add any like um, tables.
Tables.
So basically like set up your page and get it ready for the activity. And that's all I teach in day one. It's a short video, so they don't have to do a lot. And then they can go to the Facebook group and share like a screenshot of what they did. Or some people don't know how to do that. So we would just say, like drop an emoji on this post or a GIF to let me know that you did it.
Yeah. We try to make it really simple and accessible also to like we don't want technology to get in the way of anyone
Yeah. So think
not
about
being able to
the
complete it.
audience. So a lot of the teachers that sign up for this training, they struggle with technology and that's why they're signing up for it. So yeah, maybe they can't take a screenshot and upload it to Facebook. That's fine. I'm going to give them other ways to do that. So completing the challenge should be a no-brainer, very easy.
Right.
Don't make the challenge hard, because if the challenge is hard for them to complete, they're obviously going to know that this course is way too hard for them to complete. The
Right.
point of the challenge is to let them know that this is doable and give them confidence.
Right.
Um, okay, so we do that every day of the 4-day challenge. They get a video via email, they go to the group and they comment. And then the last day of the challenge, I kind of like wrap it up and kind of review what we went through. And I may teach like one small thing that day, but the bulk of the last day is me selling the course. So I talk about like pain points that they're currently having and then how my course would solve that. I talk about what's included. I give testimonials. If it's your first launch, you may not have testimonials unless you did like a beta launch, which I do recommend. But if you don't have any testimonials, that's okay. You'll get them as you continue to launch. Talk about, the urgency if you're doing a closed cart. So like you can only join by this date. If there's any incentives to join, like maybe there's a discount for this week or a bonus. So really sell the course. And it's probably the hardest video for people to do, which I get, but it gets easier with time. So your first launch, your selling video might not be great, but it does get better.
Yeah, and I think you focus on the value that you're providing, and like Lindsay talks a lot about the transformation that your course provides, and really focus on that, and it's a lot easier to talk about and acknowledge that like you're actually helping people. You're not just trying to make a quick buck. You're doing this for them, and it's got a purpose behind it.
Right. Yeah. Remember, selling is serving. If you are selling a transformation, you're serving people. And if you didn't tell them about it, they potentially wouldn't get that transformation. So just remember that you are helping people. Hopefully, that is your purpose for doing an online course.
Right.
So that's basically the challenge stage. And then we have the open cart stage. So they overlap. The last day of the challenge is also the first day of open cart, because once you send that last video where you're talking about the course and you're selling the course, then people can start to buy. So like I said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Monday is day 4 of the challenge. It's also day 1 of open cart. And that is when people can start to purchase. So for my teacher course, I always do a 7-day open cart period, which is longer than some people would recommend. The reason I like to do that is because I noticed that people needed 2 weekends to have time to watch the challenge videos. And so even in the summer when teachers are off, they're busy with their kids, they have lots of stuff, maybe they're on vacation. So giving them that final weekend to kind of bookend this launch, a lot of people will watch the challenge that weekend, the following weekend, they'll catch up on everything and then they'll buy. So during open cart, we do send an email every day, and I can just kind of give you some examples of what we send. The first day is just, hey, here's the course, it's open. What are some other ones, Emily?
We do like one of them tells your story and like why creating your own resources in your classroom really like changed the game for you, and then we also do like some pain points, like really hit on pain points and those limiting beliefs that we talked about last week. Try to really touch on those, and we do like almost debunk the myths, and say like this is just not true and this is what is true. You can do it. I think you even talk about, you do testimonials, and I think you even talk about maybe some stats from like some data points from, because you talk about selling resources also in that course. And so I think you throw in some of your personal stats and from more testimonials from students, what they've been able to accomplish.
We do a video preview of the inside of the course. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And if this is your first launch or you're working all by yourself, you don't have to send an email every day. It can be every other day. You can test that. And if you're doing a 7-day open cart period, that can be a lot of emails for people. So you don't want to turn people off and then marking you as spam right when your email is new. So you may want to
right
in between, and that's fine.
Yeah. And you do a couple that are even just really short also, they're like just reminding you about this, like here's the link to the sales page. You don't say it exactly like that, but you're like, check out the course here. It's got all the details.
Like an urgent.
Yeah. Like you can do this kind of thing.
Right. So these are just like a list of emails that you could send. You don't have to send all of these. And then on the last day, we do send 3 emails. Again, you don't have to do that. I know that's really for a lot of people. But just reminding them like the cart is going to close. And I always get the most sales on the last day. I've never had a launch where I don't get the most sales on the last day. So sending those 3 emails really does help with that. If that is scary for you, you can start with 2. But but definitely send at least one on the last day. One on the
Yeah.
first day, one on the last day. That's non-negotiable. Whatever you want to do in the middle is kind of up to you, and you can test that.
Yeah.
And then again, inside the Facebook group, so let's talk about that. So during the challenge, they're commenting and, doing their assignment for the challenge. During open cart, we're just kind of sharing very similar content as we do in our emails, a lot of storytelling, a lot of testimonials, what I personally have been able to accomplish. So if you don't have testimonials yet, maybe you can talk about how your niche has impacted your life, because people love stories. It helps them to relate to you better.
And you could even do like why you wanted to create the online course, like, what you hope for your future students and what you want to see happen in their lives. And that could be another form of storytelling, like helping them picture their future, basically.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Painting a picture of what their life could look like after they get this transformation. That's always a really good one for an email and for inside the group.
Yeah.
Also during open cart, we're encouraging them to catch up on the challenge if they haven't, because chances are if they watch the challenge videos, there's a higher chance that they're going to convert into a customer because they have gotten a small transformation. So they want more of that. So really encouraging them, like, you can catch up. It's not too late. You can watch the videos until this day. And that day would be the last day that they can buy the course as well.
Yeah.
And then,
And we also ask people to tell us what they thought of the challenge
yeah,
during that open cart period. We genuinely want to know what they thought and what we need to do differently next time, or what we need to continue doing. So we ask for that as well in the Facebook group, and that also gets people kind of excited, like if they haven't done the videos yet and they see other people saying, I thought it was great, I love that I learned about this, then that kind of prompts them to go like check it out. They have a little bit of FOMO and they want to see what they missed.
yes. And then you can take those screenshots, turn them into testimonials for the next time you run this challenge. You can do the same exact challenge again, but you can put those testimonials on the sign up page and in your emails, like, hey, I'm doing this challenge. This is what people say about this challenge. Sign up. So it's a great way to get some testimonials for that.
Absolutely.
And then social media again. If all of this is a lot, which I know it is, just don't worry about social media right now. Like, get on
Yeah.
story, talk about your course, but you don't need these beautiful images that take hours in Canva. That can be something that you hire out later, or you do for the next launch once you get your emails written. I would say the priority is your emails, number one. Second priority, I would say, is the Facebook group, because people are going to be seeing that more. And then social media would be last for sure. It's just people aren't seeing Instagram posts as much anymore, but they are watching stories. So if you can do stories, that would be good. And that is pretty much it for the live launch period. And then we close the doors and we don't do fake deadlines. Like, this is a real deadline. They can literally no longer buy after we say the doors are closed. We turn off the sales page. I use Deadline Funnel now, which redirects to a waitlist page. But back in the day when I didn't have Deadline Funnel, I would just unpublish the sales page so that people, when they go to it, it says 404. So there's lots of ways you can do it for free. You don't have to pay for Deadline Funnel. And then we move into the last part of our live launch, which is the post launch. And there's a few things we do during post launch. We pause the Facebook group. What else do we do, Emily? I feel like I'm doing all.
No, you're good. We pause the Facebook group. We post like a thank you in the Facebook group also, and just like let everyone know that we're pausing it. We announce we do giveaways for people who completed the challenge, and so we announce the winners of the giveaway. We just do a gift card, an Amazon gift card, and so we email it to them. We look at data from purchases, like sales data, and then we also usually we wait a few days after launch to look at email data, just look at click rates and all of those different things. And then we also send out a survey that asks people why they didn't purchase, anyone who didn't purchase, what their reason was, so that we can make adjustments for the next launch. So we make sure to look at that data. Usually we do that a couple weeks after we give people some time to, we don't send that email right away. We give people some time to kind of decompress from all the emails they got during open cart. And then, maybe like a week later, we check it to see what people have said.
Yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention during open cart, I would allow people to opt out of the launch emails if they're not interested. I didn't start doing that until this year, maybe end of last year. I can't remember when I started, but I didn't do it in the beginning. But it really saves you from getting like so many unsubscribes during a live launch, because it's going to happen. So if you get that, it's okay. But allowing people to say, okay, I want to stay on your list, but I just don't care about this launch, I'm not ready right now, they can click a button and opt out. And that's the tech behind that is going to be different depending on your service provider. I show you how to do that inside my program, Hey Online course, but that has really saved us from being marked as spam, or you don't want to overwhelm people, because that is a lot of emails.
Just turning people off from what
Yeah.
you're doing. Like even if people aren't ready to purchase for whatever reason, you want them to continue learning from you because they might be ready to purchase next time.
Exactly.
And so you don't want them to get annoyed with you
Yes.
and then never purchase.
I can't tell you how many people have said, oh, I've done like 4 of your challenges and now I'm finally buying. I'm like, really? But that's crazy. Some people, it just takes them that long, or maybe it takes them that long to have the money to invest. So you want the investment to feel good to people, and that's just a great way to do that.
Right.
So yeah, we send the why didn't you buy email, probably the best data collector we have. We just have a Google form that they can fill out, and it just has multiple choice options for why they didn't buy. And we actually use that data to make future launch decisions. And then we just kind of like get together, Emily and I, and just kind of process everything that happened, what went right, what went wrong. We try to do that as soon after the launch as possible so we don't forget. And we keep all of that in a Google Doc.
Yeah.
And
we try to also be pretty proactive about, like, if we know we're making changes for the next launch, we go ahead and do that. And like what we were talking about last week, where we won't have to figure out quite so much when we're getting started next time. We'll already have it set up and we can just duplicate what we did last time. And if you can take like really just a couple of hours, I feel like, to process and just go ahead and like start putting those changes into effect, like in your organization system, then that's really going to save you a lot of time. And, just you're going to forget by the time you launch again. And you want to remember those little things that will probably make a big difference.
yes, make notes as you're launching. So if you're doing it all on a Google Doc, like you're listing step by step, put the notes there. So we have everything in Asana now. And there's a few things in the last launch I can't remember specifically, but I was like, I don't want to do this again. So we went ahead and took it off of the Asana project. Or if there's something we're like, oh wait, who's doing this? This is a step we left out. We need to add that to Asana. That way, when we duplicate this project again, it'll all be there and ready to go.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like you said, like we always find something that we're like, this wasn't here. And it's that's helpful too as you realize it. Don't just go do it and then not add it into your list. Like make sure you say, okay, it wasn't here. I need to go do it, but also I need to make sure I remember for next time. So
yeah,
staying on top of things like that.
You will forget by the next launch for sure.
Yeah. Like we've already forgot. We just launched a little bit, like it was just been a few weeks and we already are like, what was it that we said?
Yes.
We're already to that point.
Yeah, you would be surprised. And then I guess that's pretty much our launch in a nutshell. And I know that was a lot, so you probably want to go back and listen to these 2 episodes and like take some notes, because I mean we pretty much gave away step by step what we do for a launch. But I did want to just kind of touch on like the emotions behind a launch, especially if you're doing it by yourself, can be a lot. And if it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, after putting in all of this work, it can really get you down. And I've had that happen before. So I just wanted to say, like, give yourself some space after you take all the notes and you write all the data down. You don't necessarily have to like process the data right away. Just make sure you have it down and you write down everything, and then maybe give yourself a week or 2 off even if you didn't make the money that you thought you were going to make, it is really important to just give yourself space to like decompress and not think about it, but then go back and look at the data once you've had some time to rest. Because I've said this multiple times, but your business is not a reflection on your worth or your value. It's a science experiment, and nothing is really a failure if you take the data and you apply it and you learn from it and you improve. So everything that you're doing during the launch is just data. And that's why you really want to track what's happening and what's working and what's not. And then give yourself some space and then use the data and make improvements from there. All right. Anything else, Emily, that I left out? I'm sure there's tons of things, but that was a lot.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that was a very good overview. Like you said, there's a lot to it, and I'm sure we could talk about this for hours,
Yeah.
but I think that's a really good overview of how we kind of handle things. And you also mentioned, everyone's going to have a little bit different, like your email service provider is going to be different. So we can't get into too much detail with
Yeah.
how it's not going to make sense. But um, if you can take this as just a broad, like, framework almost for what you need to accomplish, then I think it's going to be, as long as you can, take it with a grain of salt, everything we've said, that it might be a little different for you and
Yeah.
that it's your business. You're going to want to do it your own way too. So just keep that in mind. But this is pretty much what you need to do to.
Yeah. I feel like these two episodes are probably like the most valuable we've put out because
Yeah.
we gave you everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all there. But I do know that there are a lot of people that are going to want like calendars and checklists and like very in detail, in depth trainings on this. And so we have all of that inside of Hey Online Course. So if you are ready to create and launch your course, this program doesn't just teach you launching. It goes from the very beginning stages of like choosing a niche, a profitable niche, and then building an audience and then creating the course and launching it. We have everything that you need for that insider program, Hey Online Course. So if you're ready to join that, you can check out the link in the show notes below. But I hope this has been super, super helpful. It's been a lot of fun chatting about what we do for launches.
It has been.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Emily. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.